guys, Pulse Panda here with my third build order tutorial video. It is a TVT. Fantasies, the one who made it. It's a Widowmine drop followed up with a cloaked Banshee for some early aggression and economic damage, and uses a lot of their scans as opposed to using it on mules or for scouting. Quick thing I want to go over, just really fast, two things. One, my long intros are going to be in channel update videos, no longer these. They'll be their own playlists, and you can watch them whenever. There's no set schedule, they just happen when they happen. And number two, as you watch these videos, there's going to be some FPS lag spikes, and I can go over what I want to happen with those later during my last video. So, some things with this build, it opens up with some early aggression with a Widowmine, 2 Widowmines, and 4 Marines in a drop, so you can pull out some scans and hopefully do some damage. And then it follows up with a cloaked Banshee. That way you're able to pull out more scans because they used all of them on the Widowmines and do some more damage and just keep the pressure on so they don't, cheese you or something else. So, weaknesses of this build order, it doesn't get you an early economy, but it gets you early tech, and a stronger army with the 2 Widowmines, 4 Marines, medevac, and a cloaked Banshee. So keep that in mind when you're playing. At 9 supply, you're going to be wanting to get a supply depot. Like always, you always want to be getting a supply depot. So if you're unsuccessful with your Widowmines or with your Banshee, it puts you really far behind, which is generally a pretty bad thing to have happen. So try and keep them alive, or at least do as much damage with them as possible. As soon as you can after the supply depot, get another barracks, or get your first barracks, and get a refinery, and then start producing more SCBs as soon as you have the minerals. When you scout with your SCB, it's all totally up for preference. I scout as soon as the first supply depot is done. Especially for builds like this, you don't start with a Reaper. And so it just lets you know like what the opponent's kind of doing, if they have double gas or if they have no gas. Again, it gives you an idea of what they're doing. Plus on multiple player maps, it'll help determine where they are, so you don't send your Widowmine drop to the entirely wrong base. Once your barracks is done, you're going to want to start a Marine and then immediately build a supply depot. I put it there because it'll keep an eye out for like Reapers, and it gives me vision. You kind of want vision of your own base, so you're just saving some gas. Once your SCV finishes, you're going to be wanting to build an orbital command at 17, and then once your Marine finishes, you want to get a reactor on the barracks so you can pump double Marines. Once you have 100 gas, you want to get a factory so you can start with the Widowmines. And once that's placed, you're going to want to get a refinery at the same time. So you can kind of think factory or barracks, refinery, factory, refinery, and that'll give you enough gas for everything else. Once your reactor finishes, you're just going to do double Marines. Make sure to keep an eye on your supply. You don't want to get supply capped, especially with this sort of a build. If it's an economy build, it's not that big of a deal, but if you're trying to get early army out, you really don't want to be supply capped because that'll throw you off really hard. And I think I will actually be getting supply capped here. You're also going to be wanting to get a bunker once you have 3 Marines. It's not necessary, but I like to have bunkers in almost every matchup. It's a really useful defensive tool. And you're going to want to get a starport once your factory is done. Alright, so right there, I'm not producing anything. It's because I need to prioritize a Widowmine before I prioritize Marines. And then I need to prioritize the 2 Marines before I need to prioritize the SCVs, because again, with the nature of the build, you want to get army out, so you don't want to be trying to focus on economy, you can cut some SCBs here and there as long as you're getting your military. And you want to focus the Widow Mine before the Marine, simply because you're doing a Widow Mine drop. You need the Widow Mines. Once your starport finishes, you want to get a medevac, and once your Widow Mine finishes, you want to get another Widow Mine. And I did get supply capped here, but it wasn't for a super long time, so it wasn't a horrifying deal, but it still isn't good, and you really want to try. So right there, you saw a little bit of lag. That's I don't know what that's from. I've tweaked settings for hours on OBS, my recording software, and I haven't been able to get rid of it. And it's just the way my software and my hardware is interacting. And I want to take care of two things, or one of two things. I could either, one, upgrade my RAM and graphics card, and hopefully that would help, or two, get a recording computer. I can get back to that later. I want to go over the build some more. So once your medevac pops, you load up the 2 Widow Mines and 4 Marines and go off for a drop. At the same time, you also want to be getting a tech lab. And make sure you research Cloak and then get Banshee. Make sure you start Cloak first because it takes much longer than a Banshee to actually research. After you start those, I started my tech lab on my factory a little early. They delayed my Banshee by like 2 seconds. But then you get to tech lab on a factory and you can defend with siege tanks because siege tanks are really strong in TVT and they're really necessary. That is not how you normally want to do the Widow Mine drop, but because it's versus AI and I don't want to just instantly win, that's how I did it. And I do plan on actually going over how I want to do the Widow Mine drops later. So I'm going to be getting a command center, and I want to be getting those siege tanks. I totally missed a mule there. With your Banshee, you just want to head over to the natural, where their natural base would be, and scout for a third. That's always nice to have too. Also, when your Banshee, right before your Banshee pops, if you have 400 minerals, just make sure to build a command center so you can get your second. So when you drop with the Widow Mines, you kind of want to spread them out as much as possible while they're still able to hit as much as possible, because right there they could be targeted with one scan and they could both be picked off and it's no big deal. Plus they're not near any SCVs, so they're not doing any good. If you spread them out, maybe one Widow Mine per base, maybe just barely longer than the length of a scan, they're able to do more damage and waste more resources, and then you can hit with the Cloaked Banshee and just do damage. Again, versus AI, I don't really care a whole lot, so I just kind of did a micro, and I didn't want to kill him off immediately, so. Oh, one thing I didn't get, when your Cloak finishes, you want to lift off your starport and get a reactor on it for some double medevacs, and then you want to place 2 barracks, one on the old tech lab. You also want to be using your, once your command center, your second command center finishes, you want to turn it into an orbital, and right when it's done, you want to lift off and land. You also want to get a engineering bay, and you kind of just want to transfer into a bio medevac with some siege tanks army, and just expand and follow through and get your second base up. And that's pretty much that for that replay. But yeah, to finish on my idea of the lag that you saw in the video, there's nothing I can do about it with my computer. So there's 2 options. I can either spend a good $500 and get more RAM and get a better graphics card, and I might be able to record and play at the same time without the lag. I'm not sure. Or I could invest maybe $700 max and get a recording and streaming PC. Either way, it doesn't really make a difference to you guys really in the long run, but for the future I do kind of want to get a recording PC anyway, because I'm kind of getting into recording and videos and all that stuff, sort of level of computer work, and it'd probably help. So if any of you guys are interested in maybe helping a little, maybe help donate $10 to help get a new computer or something to use for recording, that would be awesome. I do want to emphasize though that it's not necessary, and you don't have to if you don't want to. So anyway guys, that about wraps it up for tonight. I don't have a whole lot of time to add the second replay that I wanted to throw in there. So that'll have to be it for now. So just a really quick recap. I'm going to be uploading a new video whenever I can on my days off. So the longest I should be going without a video uploaded is a week. And I want to be getting either an upgrade or a new computer for recording of these videos. And any help would be really appreciated. And there's a donate link on the front page of my channel. Another thing, I really want your guys' feedback. Please post thoughts, comments, concerns, complaints, critiques, and anything else that you have. And I read all of the comments, and I try and respond to most of them. And keep in mind, guys, just bear with me. I'm fairly new to this sort of thing. I don't usually stream. I don't usually record videos. I never do tutorial videos, and so it's just kind of a new thing for me, and I'm learning, and I feel like I'm getting better. So thank you for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.